Good morning. It is Monday, November 16th, and I'm here to start a new weekly reading vlog. And as I mentioned at the end of the reading vlog that I just wrapped up, I am halfway through Incediary by Zoraida Cordova. I have the dust jacket off while I'm reading it, but I am thoroughly enjoying this book. I'm very excited to continue. I literally read almost half of it in a day. And I also have the audiobook is on Scribd, so I am following along with the audiobook as I'm physically reading. Just one of my favorite ways to read books. So having a fantastic time with this, and I will talk a bit more about this one later. And after I finish that one, like the rest of my plans for the week, pretty much solely involve getting to Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. For some reason, particularly because I have the audiobook of both of these and the physical copy, I don't know, I'm kind of in the mood just to focus on one book at a time. I normally have one audiobook going and one physical book going, but I don't know, right now, since I can listen to the audiobook and physically follow along, and I don't know, I'm just kind of in the mood to just focus on one, work on it through all of my reading time. So I don't think this one will take too much longer to get through. Hopefully I can get through it in, I don't know, maybe the next couple of days or something. And then I can just turn to Assassin's Quest. And this one's gonna take a minute. So I don't think I'm gonna be reading anything else this week, certainly, and maybe just it'll take me a minute to finish, let's just say that. I think the audiobook is over 37 hours, so but I'm very excited. This is the third book in the Farseer trilogy, which follows Fitz, who is the bastard son of the king in waiting and is trained to be the king's assassin, and just follows his adventures. And I have adored this series. It's a pretty slow-moving series, and you follow him from the time he's a kid, but it's just super fun. So yeah, I will check in once I have finished Incediary and give my thoughts on that one, and then let you know how Assassin's Quest is going. So check in later. Good morning. So it is Wednesday, and I have finished Incediary by Zoraida Cordova. This is the beautiful Fairy Loot edition. I absolutely love this edition, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. So it's not a particularly unique setup, I think, or at least doesn't feel like a particularly unique setup. It's a kind of classic fantasy story, and follows the evil kingdom that's killing people who exhibit magical abilities. And in this kingdom, so they're killing people with magic, and they still have some kids who exhibit magical abilities that have been taken from their homes and basically sent to the palace to kind of serve the kingdom or be forced to serve the kingdom. And our main character is one of these people her parents were killed, and she was basically forced when she was a young child. She was kidnapped and forced to use her magical abilities for the service of the kingdom. When she is a little bit older, but still pretty young, she's rescued by the rebellion and has been in the rebellion. At the point of the story, she's been in the rebellion for, a number of years. And the people in the rebellion still don't fully trust her, because even people with magic don't always trust people with her particular ability or her particular type of magic. And they know that she was in the palace and was in the kingdom for a time, and they aren't really kind of fully sure how that affected her. And so she's been in the rebellion for a while, and circumstances happen, some things happen, and she ultimately finds that she needs to go back to the palace, in theory to rescue someone, but also to kind of get more information on a weapon, or some sort of new type of weapon that the rebellion has uncovered that the kingdom has. And so she's trying to figure out more information about this. She's trying to rescue someone, and ultimately finds that she needs to kind of go back undercover in the palace in order to get that information. And so, doesn't seem like a super unique setup. I feel like many people who have read a decent amount of fantasy have kind of had a lot of those tropes before in the books that they've read, but this still somehow managed to still feel like a pretty unique story. I was so sucked in pretty immediately to this story and was pretty sucked in throughout the whole story. I just could immediately, like, whenever I continued reading, I could just like immediately jump back in and just got so immersed. Like, I managed to finish it pretty quickly because I was just so sucked in. I was having such a good time. I was both physically reading and listening to the audiobook through Scribd. There were times where I was only listening on audio as well, but for the most part I was doing both, or to some degree kind of switching between the audio and physical plus audio. And I really enjoyed the narrator too for the audiobook, so that was a fun experience. But yeah, I just got so sucked in. I was really interested in this world, this rebellion, the history of these groups. I could just picture everything super clearly in my head. I really enjoyed the writing style. It was just like a pretty easy to follow but still fun and descriptive writing style. I really enjoyed a lot of the characters, and they still felt a little bit deeper than most YA characters, I think. I just had a really fun time with this story, and I'm super excited to read the next one. So yeah, I don't know, I think it was just a fun, like, it's not anything life-changing, mind-blowing, but it was a fun, definitely kind of, I think, on the better written, deeper character work and just fun history to the world than most YAs I've read, and I still have a lot of fun with YA fantasies overall. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed, and I have now basically just turned to Assassin's Quest, and I'm not reading anything else at the moment. I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the vlog. I have the audiobook and I'm just listening and following along. I think it'll be similar to Incediary, where there will be times where I'm only listening on audio as I get through this, like when I'm on a walk, for example. But I am just basically, my quest is to get through Assassin's Quest at this point, and so there's really not going to be much else that I talk about in this vlog, so this is going to be a little bit of a different vlog. I'm only 64 pages in at this point, since I just started this last night or yesterday evening. So I'm not very far into this, but I'm very excited. And it's also the third book in a series, so it's also going to be different in terms of what I can talk about as I'm reading this book. So I don't know how many other times I'm going to check in other than to wrap up this vlog, because there's really not going to be much else to say, and I can just kind of give my thoughts on what I've read so far when I wrap up. I don't know, maybe I'll feel like saying something else as I read, but yeah. So if you don't know this series, this follows Fitz, and Fitz is the bastard son of the king in waiting. At one point he is dropped back off to the palace, and his father abdicates once he realizes that his bastard son has kind of appeared again. He abdicates, but the man who's currently still king wants Fitz to be trained as an assassin. And so it starts when he's pretty young. He's, I think, 6 in the first book, and he's a teenager-ish in the second one. He's kind of, I think, a late teen, maybe early adult or something in this one. I'm unclear in his age at the start of this one. So it just follows him growing up, being trained as an assassin, and just some of the political happenings in this palace and throughout this kingdom. It has been such a fun series so far. It's very character-based, very slow, but I love being in this world. I love the characters. So very excited to be back in this world. And yeah, I'll just kind of give additional thoughts as I want to share them. At the very least, we'll wrap up this vlog and kind of tell you where I'm at by the end of this week, how far I've managed to get, and what my thoughts are. So I will check in later. Okay, So it is Sunday afternoon. If you can hear the noise in the background, I'm sorry. But I'm here to check in. This is probably going to be the final check-in I do. As I mentioned, I am just straight up going to be continuing with this. Like, there's not going to be much new for me to say. So I will just check in this final time and say that I am about halfway through Assassin's Quest. Halfway through Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. Thoroughly enjoying this. And again, it's a super slow world, so there definitely are a lot of slow moments, but this one, you're kind of in the middle of some of the politics going on, so there definitely are more intense moments in the first half of this one than there have been in the first half of the other books. But yeah, stuff is heating up and stuff is happening. I've already kind of described the basics of what this story is and can't really say too much more without spoiling a bunch of stuff. So I'm enjoying this, thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm very excited to read the second half of it, which, I mean, I've been reading this since the latter part of Tuesday and I'm halfway done by Sunday. So this one's taking a minute, which I fully expected. But yeah, this one will just continue into the next vlog, and I will see you then. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more bookish content. I will leave my Twitter and Instagram link down below. That's where I like to hang out. I will also link up more information about how you can support the Black Lives Matter movement, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.